How do happiness and like success coincide? And like, have you been infinitely more happy the more successful you've gotten, or has there been tough crossroads that have maybe not validated that?
I'm without a doubt happy where I'm at. Yeah. And I'm happy where I'm at because I'm happy where my family's at. Yeah. And so like, I don't care like how much money that I make. That doesn't mean a lot to me. It's given me a lot of opportunities. It's given my family opportunities. But if my 3 kids didn't get along, if my family was broken, like my relationship with my father is, and my siblings and stuff, I mean, if you don't have that type of relationship, it doesn't matter like how much money you have, you're not successful. Like I'm successful because, not because of like my great fatherly skills, but I attribute it to my wife. I mean, my wife, did an amazing job raising 3 kids and was very adamant that, they be best friends and that we be a strong family unit. So if I lost everything that I had financially, I would still be happy because we're happy.
Right. How does that relationship work? Because you do cross over business and family, and like, what are the roles of your family in your business? And like, how has that created hardships, or how has that brought you guys closer together?
Yeah, we're working. I worked for my mother and stepfather growing up. I worked for my father, and that's probably the worst thing you can probably do. Is that I would always try to strongly advise not to do that. My wife she worked for my painting company. She works for the Idaho Painter. She works for Paint Life Supply Co. She's damn amazing.
So she's like integral to the business.
I wouldn't be where I'm at without her. Yeah. So, and I wouldn't be where I'm at without my kids. But there's a lot of challenges because it's so difficult to sit at the table and have the business meeting with the business and separate family from business. It's easy to, raise your voice and yell at me because you're my daughter and you can get away with it. And
do you run those meetings? Is that a weekly meeting?
We do.
Okay.
So weekly meeting, I have a weekly meeting with, my 2 daughters and wife. And so they're a very big part of running the company. So, that's an important part of running the business. And then we have weekly meetings with the staff as a whole. Okay. So we get together with them and have weekly meetings, and it's important.
Was it like tough at first to kind of like shut off like family time versus like business time? Like, hey, like we gotta like not talk about like what we're having for dinner later. Like we gotta sit and talk about like what are we gonna.
Or is it just always business and family crossover?
I think that's it's like it never shuts down. I think that's what like YouTubers and influencers, it never ends. It never shuts down. And when we're out to dinner, I'm posting content. And when we're traveling, I'm posting content. It's like, if you think you're going to enter into this and this is going to be this dream life, it's a lot of work and it never stops. Like B&K Painting stopped, everybody went home. Social media doesn't stop. And if you're not posting, you're not making money. If you're not, the beauty about YouTube is I can quit posting content and you can make money for months, for years. I mean, you can die and still make money, and my family can still make money, versus if I don't paint a house, I don't get paid. But you still, it's not as easy and glamorous as it sounds. And it's a lot of hard work. And so sometimes my kids get really pissed off at me because, and I am starting to, I think we are getting more balance where we're saying, no, like this is where We're not talking business. We're not going to do business now. And this is going to be family time.
Yeah. And I don't know, Matt wants to talk about like your day to day. So I don't know if you want to go into that at all or ask him some questions on that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, you kind of spoke into it a little bit that you're getting better at it. But one of the things on this podcast that we want to do is you've highlighted some, and if we go into a little more, that'd be awesome. If you're not comfortable with that, that's fine. But you made a lot of money from YouTube and your paint business, and obviously you're providing for your family. But we want to take that and then compare it to the work ethic that you've experienced over the years. Whether when it was peaking and maybe it's dying down a little bit because you're learning to slow down. But for example, like at the high point of whatever it was, well, I guess I'll start here. How many, because you say you have to be diversified in the space because YouTube could die, Facebook could die, like all these things. How many different revenues do you have currently going?
Wow, I haven't done a count, but I'm a brand ambassador for, that's one of the beauties of, when you get on YouTube, if you get popular enough, you can act as a brand ambassador, for companies, I can't divulge the companies I work with, because of confidential, reasons, but
like how many companies would you say that you're an ambassador for or that you have a relationship with?
I mean, they come and go. So one company, I've had a working relationship with for 5 years now. And, it's 6 figures. And so, and then.
How did that get connected? Did they seek you out? Did you seek them out?
It's kind of mutual. Like companies will come to me and want me to promote their products. And somehow, everybody thinks I'm the golden ticket, that if I touch their product, if I talk about their product, they're going to make millions of dollars, which isn't true. And
directly associated to painting?
Correct.
Yeah,
so
okay.
everything I'm involved with is somehow associated with painting. There's that avenue. They'll come to me. I'll reach back out to them. We'll discuss. What do you want? Do you want a long-term relationship? Do you want a short-term relationship? Do you just want me to review one product and do a video? If you want me to, review a product and do a video on it, this would be $7,000. And so, if you want me to do like a TikTok video, just want me to make one TikTok video, it'd be $1,500.
How do you come to those numbers of your worth? Is that just something you feel comfortable with? Did you get
there's
insight?
There's an app called Social Blue Book that actually evaluates your channel and tells you what your value is, and you can go by that number or you can't. Yeah. A lot of it is just trial and error. This is a valuable tip, and I'd never thought any company would ever divulge this information. But when you approach a company, they all have marketing departments and advertising departments, and they all have a budget. And all you got to do is just say, what's your budget? Okay. And it's amazing how many people will tell you what the budget is. And they'll say, my budget is $150,000. Well, and you'll go, well, I can work with that. And so, I mean, sometimes they'll tell you, their budget is $10,000. And you're like, well, this is what you'll get for $10,000. Yeah. And
be realistic.
And that's where your media deck, I have a media deck that explains my value and it shows you my reach and everything.
Who puts the media deck together? Do you, or do you have a team that
I built it myself.
Okay.
I built it at a YouTube event, but then revised it over the years.
Okay.
And
do you have people that oversee that, or is that like?
I strictly do the media deck myself because it's my numbers, it's my reach, it's my value, and it's kind of like confidential. Okay. And I don't let. Well, I mean, it's not eventually who I send it to. It's not confidential to, but there's the media deck, and then there's a price deck, and the price deck will give you a price for everything involved. But it's so much of it is negotiable, and
so you like to keep things discreet until it's like we're talking about numbers.
Yeah. It's because it's all relative. Like
right.
if Sherwin-Williams approaches me and says, we would like you to be a brand ambassador. I mean, their marketing is it's probably hundreds of millions.
Right.
I mean, to them, $200,000 is pennies. Yeah. And so, but if some guy that just invented the O glove comes to you, he just invented it. I mean, $2,000, he can't even afford that. And so and so you have to know, who you're dealing with and what their budget. That's where it's like, what is your budget? Right. And with that budget, this is what I can work with.
Okay.
And it just depends on, I remember, like Cody Crone was the one, the Wrangler Star. He was the one that gave me a lot of insight into that. And he used to tell me that, wherever he flies, when he does guest appearances, well, they have to pay my way, and they got to pay my wife's way and my kids' way. And I only fly first class and only stay in 5-star hotels and eat 5-star meals. I'm like, who does that?
But yeah, so does that help you create a new standard for the life you want by hearing something like that?
I mean, it gave me insight into, what I should be asking for. Yeah. But when it really comes down to it, I'm trying to make a living, obviously. Right. I'm trying to pay my bills and stuff, but I'm trying to be fair to my client. Right. I want to know, and actually, I only work with brands I believe in 100%, right. and that I actually have in my trailer and I use to paint. And so, there has to be standards there. And so,
and it's equally beneficial.
It is.